Hey everyone, we're here at KORG taking a look at the minilogue XD. And in this video, we're going to check out the modulation section with its sources, modes, and destinations. We're also going to be taking a look at the effects on minilogue XD. The modulation section has been a little bit simplified from the original minilogue. There's an ADSR, just like minilogue for the amp, attack, decay, sustain, and release, and that can be a really nice smooth envelope. Or the amp envelope can be really nice and fast and snappy. So if I turn the attack all the way down on an initialized patch and turn the sustain down too, and turn the decay up maybe about a quarter of the way, and get a nice plucky sound, and then let's just put in a quick sequence for the sake of example. Now if I press play, I can change the decay and you'll hear the nice snappy envelope there. The second envelope, or EG, on minilogue XD stands for envelope generator, and that's an envelope that can be used to modulate various parameters on minilogue XD. For example, the pitch. If I want to have two oscillators running, I can modulate the pitch of both, or just the pitch of one, and I can use that to make sync sounds. So I've turned up VCO2 in the mixer, and I'm going to use the intensity on the envelope generator and a little bit of decay with no attack to make the pitch of oscillator 2 fall, and then I'm actually going to sync oscillator 2 to oscillator 1 so we get one of those kind of classic sync sounds. And of course, the envelope generator intensity knob right here determines the amount that the envelope generator is modulating whatever parameter it's currently targeting. So if I turn that up, I'll get more of a fall from that oscillator. And then turn up the decay and I'll get a longer fall. Or a shorter fall and less intensity. And the envelope generator, like I said, has been simplified, so it's an attack and decay envelope. So that's kind of similar to the functions that you might find on a modular system, for example. So no analog synth is complete without an LFO, and the LFO on minilogue XD is very similar to the minilogue's LFO, the prologues, and the monologues. And it has three targets, so that can be pitch, shape, or cutoff. Pitch, of course, being the pitch of your oscillators, shape being the shape, and you can change in menus which shape it targets. For example, you can target just the multi-engine shape or just the VCO shape. The third target is cutoff, so that's the cutoff of the low-pass filter, pretty standard. And then there's three modes. BPM mode, which will just sync to tempo and different divisions of the tempo that's currently running on the sequencer, whether it's coming in through the analog sync or MIDI or just the internal tempo. And then there's three wave shapes, a saw wave, a triangle wave, and a square wave, or pulse wave. The two other modes on the LFO include normal mode, which is just kind of a normal speed for an LFO. You can hear it if I target the cutoff, turn the main cutoff knob down, and bring the intensity up slowly. Bring the rate up a little bit. And then the one-shot mode actually turns the LFO into kind of a function or its own envelope. So you actually can use the amp envelope, the envelope generator, and the LFO to have three separate envelopes on minilogue XD by using the one-shot mode, because the one-shot mode, when you press a key, fires off one cycle of the LFO. So if I put that into saw wave mode and keep my intensity turned up and put the speed kind of in the middle, and I'll explain that in a second, and just press a key, we're still modulating the cutoff, so we'll get kind of a plucky sound. Now, if I turn the rate up, that means the LFO, if it were cycling, would be running faster, so the actual fall time is going to be shorter. and if I turn that down, the fall time is going to be slower. And since I'm in saw wave mode, there's no attack and it immediately decays. So something that's completely new and exciting about minilogue XD is the CV inputs 1 and 2. And CV inputs 1 and 2 can function as modulation inputs if you have a Eurorack or modular signal coming in and you want to modulate one of the parameters. It's assignable. Go to Edit Mode, Program Edit, and select the second blinking program button. And the first option will be to determine what the CV in mode is, and we're going to keep it on modulation by default, just for the sake of example. Press it again, and you have the assignments. And CV in 1 right now, for example, is assigned to the VCO1 shape, and then you have range, so like an attenuation, and then you have the CV in 2 assignment. But if I change that to CV gate, I can actually press play on my SQ1, and if I turn the duty cycle up, the gate will start playing notes. So that's how I can use the minilogue XD's CV inputs 1 and 2. So also new on minilogue XD are effects, which you might be familiar with from the KORG Prologue. And minilogue XD's 3 separate stereo effects units can all be run simultaneously, and aspects of them can actually be motion sequenced, which is really, really exciting. The first effect type is the mod effect. So that's going to cover your choruses, phasers, flangers, and ensembles. So I'll just pull up a gated saw wave and give you a quick example of that. So if I turn the mod effect engine on, let's start with some chorus and bring up the depth slowly with the time function a little bit in the middle. Then you have ensemble, which is kind of reminiscent of some effects that you'd find on a vintage KORG analog from the 80s. And then you have phaser. And flanger. The next effects unit is reverbs, and if I turn that on, I can actually flip the effects selector up, and that'll scroll through the different types of reverbs. So there's everything from regular reverbs like springs and plates, arenas, and then you get to some nonlinear reverbs like a riser reverb. And last but not least in the effects section, you have delays. And the select knob selects the type of delay, but for this example, I'm going to be using a BPM-based tape delay, where the time function determines what division of the BPM the tape delay is delaying at. So if I play my sequence and I gradually bring up the depth, so let's add some reverb to that. A cool way of combining some of the new features on minilogue XD is to motion sequence some effects. So the effects section has the ability to automate parameters through motion sequencing, which is the standard way of automating parameters in a sequence on minilogue and minilogue XD and the monologue. So if I press record and modify a knob while a sequence is going, I can actually change the parameter on the effects that I'm currently using. So that's a way of modifying your effects over time to give your sequences added depth on Minilogue XD. So that's the Minilogue XD. If you have any questions or you want to let us know about a sound you made on the Minilogue XD, hit the comments below and remember to subscribe to the KORG YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.